I am excited to bring up our next presenter, Ms. Ana Brandt, who taught the art of maternity photography. So I am very excited to have her with us. Ana, how are you doing?
Good, good. I'm in sunny California. I'm doing great.
How can you not complain about sunny? I love it. I love it. So let's talk briefly about your Photo Week course called The Art of Maternity Photography. What did you teach in it?
Just the basics of transitional posing and using a fan and dressing a woman, and just kind of, it was more of an introductory course of pregnancy photography.
Fantastic. And then, of course, we had you here for a full 3-day workshop. Let's hear about that.
Yeah, that was intense. We did maternity one day, a newborn another day, and the third day it was about marketing and sales and motivation, and it was, gosh, just a little bit of everything from all different areas.
It was a fantastic one. I watched a little bit of it, and I am not at all a baby photographer, but it was amazing, some of the things that we learned. What are some of the biggest questions that you get related to photography?
Wow, goodness. I get questions around the world every day, and it's amazing. As I was emailing you today, Brazil was emailing me saying, how do you get babies into a deep sleep? And it's so funny because I converse with over 50 countries every week, and it's the same several questions. Number one is, what camera do you use? What lens is the perfect lens? That's always the big one, like, 'cause that's where the magic is, right?
Of course.
And then the second is, how do you get the babies to sleep, 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 sleep? And then, the third is, how do I do it all? And, with the equipment, I'm a Canon girl. I'm a Mark III. I use 24 to 70 USM2 lens, the 50 millimeter lens, and on location, the 70 to 200 millimeter lens. But I also don't believe you need to have the most expensive camera. I'm not one of those people that believe that. I bought used gear for 10 years. So, use what you have and make it great, and then earn the money to afford the next camera. That's kind of my philosophy. Second, the babies to sleep. Well, if you watch my 3-day course, it'll help you.
Absolutely.
The hint is food. People aren't paying attention to what the nursing mothers are eating. And I have 3 babies that prove the theory that what a mama eats if she's nursing affects the baby. And half the time, if you can just teach mom to keep the baby awake and keep them bathed and, eat comfortable foods and watch their formulas, if they're formula feeding, when they come for their session, you can get them in a very deep sleep. And I'm a 2-hour newborn session girl. I'm not a 4-hour girl. So I believe in getting them to sleep.
That's fascinating, the idea that it's what the mother is eating that's influencing how the baby is sleeping. Most people aren't thinking that far back. Those people are just thinking, like, what did you do 2 minutes ago to get it to sleep? Not what did you do hours ago?
Yeah, and honestly, I didn't know any better either until I had a son who was up all night, and I was crying to my pediatrician going, what did I do? And she's like, it's not what you did, it's what did you eat? And 3 kids, they all, are affected in different ways. And even if they're not nursing, if it's the formula they're eating, I mean, that affects too. And even diaper rashes, what diaper are they using? The parents say, oh, they hate a diaper change. That a light bulb should go off. What diaper are you using? They might be allergic to the diaper. So there's obviously a million things of why the baby's not sleeping, but it's fascinating. Every week I get emails from Brazil to Israel to Egypt to Turkey, and they're all saying, why aren't the babies sleeping? And that's a big, big one. And then the third is, how do I do it all? And I say every day, I don't do it all myself. I have a team, I have a crew, my family helps me, I have assistants, and I don't do it all myself. That's the easy one.
Yeah, and how do you get started finding that team? That's kind of the question. How do you get into this, like, okay, I'm at the point where I can't do everything, and there are things that are essential that aren't getting done. How do you start finding that team?
There's Reverend T.D. Jakes, if you know him. He's phenomenal. He says, if you're doing the job that somebody else can do, you're not fulfilling your life's purpose. So if you're sitting there just updating customer database, but anyone can do that, why are you sitting there doing it? But can anyone pick up your camera and take the photos that are going to come from your eye and your vision? No. So what you do is you sit down and you say, what are all the things that I'm doing that anybody else can do? And you make a list of those. And if you can't afford it, you go to the local colleges and you say, can I enroll in your intern program and get students who not only would they love to do it, they have to do it to graduate. They have to get an internship. and say, you know, these are the things, give them the list of the things that you don't need to do. This is what I need to do. And you get them in there. And then you've got the 120 hours or whatever the hours they need to graduate to figure out, is this the right fit? Are they, you know, what are they doing? You know, I'm a control freak. I would love to do everything myself. But I have that quote and I say, wait a minute, what is my purpose? My purpose is to not just sit and file all day, though I really love to file. You know what I mean? So I think if everybody just took a step back, and my retouching, I don't need to clone out hands all day. I can outsource that to somebody who can do that all day. And maybe that's their life's purpose.
That's beautiful. I love that. I mean, it kind of just goes back to almost what I was saying about the previous course that we watched. If you're not finding joy in what you're doing, if that isn't the thing that is fulfilling you and really allowing you to do what is most important to you, whatever is your life's purpose, why are you doing it? Right. Why not figure out how to have somebody else do it so that you can focus on what is special about you? I love that.
Exactly. And if you look to every successful person in the world, from Oprah to the president, what are they really spending their time on? I can guarantee you it's not filing.
No, absolutely not. I love that. Thank you for those thoughts. Let's talk a little bit about what's kind of new with you and what's going on in your world right now. I know you had an interview recently in Rangefinder magazine, and you actually mentioned something that I thought was really interesting, which was your experience with YouTube and with video, which is not something that most people think of when they think of newborn photography. Can you tell us a little bit about your experience with video and YouTube?
Sure, and Rangefinder called me just like 2 weeks ago, so the article's not out yet. But it's good that you brought them up, because I'm looking forward to seeing it. Basically, the short version of how it started is 7 or 8 years ago, I literally started using a flip cam and photographing behind the scenes of pregnancy and newborn to share with other photographers, because there really wasn't anything like that, and I was like, let me just share. Well, all these years, gosh, I think it's even closer to 9 years later, I have over 1 million views and 15,000 subscribers from all over the world that people just kept asking questions. And I'm like, sure, I'll do another video. Well, here's what started happening. People, one of the first things that really changed my whole life recently was we had a call from Afghanistan, and his wife was having a baby here in California, and he was looking for a photographer. And he's an amateur photographer himself, so he loves to go on YouTube and just figure things out when he's not defending our country. And he found my YouTube videos and started following my links and going to my website. And honestly, I got an email from him and I thought it was spam, because he's like, I'm emailing from Afghanistan. I'm like, yeah, right. And so I just said, why don't you call the studio and make an appointment? And he was like, well, it's a little hard, but I'll try. And I'm like, yeah, okay. Forgot about him. He calls the studio and he books. And he flies from Afghanistan to come and help his wife deliver a baby. And I was just, the whole newborn session, I was still like, really? And he was like, yeah, I mean, how else would I have found you? Okay, so I start thinking maybe I should focus more on consumer videos showing behind the scenes, because look, there's 1 million newborn photographers out there. How do people find the newborn photographer? And then half the newborn photographers don't even have photos of them. And you're supposed to bring your 7-day-old baby to a photographer and you don't even know what they look like? Let alone you pay this money and you get there. What if you can't stand the photographer? So I started thinking, I'm gonna switch the camera more on me and behind the scenes of a session, because it takes a lot to go into a session, and do more consumer videos. And I did create a second channel for that. What happens? I get another call from a military family. The husband and wife are in the Army. She's looking for a photographer in Orange County. She's in another state. She sees my video. She calls my husband. I found my photographer. And he's like, who? Here's her video. So pretend you're the mom. And you're in for a newborn session. And there's so much going on. You don't even remember it, right? You're in this postpartum days. The dad doesn't even remember it. What happens when you look back at a video? So sorry.
You're fine. You're fine.
And all of a sudden, to music, you start seeing behind the scenes and the work and the magic that's involved in it. And then you add that with the stills. So you're looking, you're seeing the posing and the fluffing and the prepping, and then boom, the image, the still pops up. And you're like, wow, wow. And so we started saying, okay, this is going to be a gift for those that choose our baby plan, because our baby plan is not cheap, and they're paying a lot of money up front and they're investing with me. So why not I take part of that investment back? And this was my talk with rangefinders. I was telling them, like anything, you have to give an investment back into your business. You know, when I started doing books 9 years ago, I was barely charging $400 for a book and barely making any money. And it took years to figure out how to do it. It's the same with video. It's taking my videographer and testing it, practicing it, editing it, culling it, making it great, and saying, okay, we're gonna gift this to our high-end clients. Then streamlining it so you can add it as a product, as a value add-on for your products and services.
Beautiful. I love that. There were so many things you just said. Like, goodness, the part that I didn't even consider was the idea that this is a family who has a newborn, who they might be a first-time parent and are terrified, don't know anything about it, and they're expected to go in and just hand their child over to a complete stranger. Being able to see who you're working with, learn their personality a little bit, at least even, like you said, just get to know what they look like. That is beautiful. And then being able to be searchable, findable. You know, YouTube is one of the, if not the biggest at this point, searched sites on the internet. And so having that number of people looking and being able to find it, that's huge. I love that. And then developing it into making it a product that you can offer. That's beautiful. Thank you for sharing that. Really quick, we're running out of time here. What is new with you? What is going on in your life? Share us the big news.
Well, I'm launching a magazine, The Art of Pregnancy and Newborn.
Beautiful.
Tiopan. We had one years ago, and I put it on a back shelf. And because I get so many questions because of being on CreativeLive, I said it's time to bring it back. My husband's a writer. He worked in magazines for years. Let's bring it back in print and digital. So we posted the cover on the website, and we're getting ready to launch it pretty soon. So I'm excited because it's going to be solely focused on pregnancy, newborn children in the first year, every issue. I'm excited about that. And on a personal note, I'm going to take my CPP exam just to,
very nice.
I feel like, why not? Why not? I'm a member of PPA. Why not? So, you know, just I'm continually trying to better myself. I believe it's a journey that you spend the rest of your life on. I will never be done, you know, and I don't think we ever should be. And so I'm always just trying to make myself a little better and just try to continue to work on my own work.
That is fantastic. Thank you for joining us, Ana. We really appreciate your time. And again, thank you for all the teaching that you've done here. And we're excited to see the magazine as well.